On the last episode of Built to Last, we installed insulation from the smallest openings to the widest spaces and hung and prepped our drywall. Today we're going to prime, paint, and beautify the interior surfaces of our home, so stay tuned.
Support for Built to Last is provided by
Unico Incorporated, manufacturers of the small duct high-velocity HVAC Unico system. Unico is dedicated to the environment and has been serving residential and commercial customers around the corner and around the globe for more than 25 years.
Great Northern Lumber, providing green construction materials from skyscrapers to residential remodel. Proud to serve you for the last 27 years and into the future in the lumber industry.
BOSCH, power tools for professionals. Proud sponsor of The Green Home. Floridatile. Expect more. SPI Incorporated, protective coatings, proven performance, and real-world solutions for 24 years. Additional funding is provided by these firms.
Our interior systems are in place, and you can really see the character of our home now that the drywall is set. In this episode, we'll start working on the interior surfaces. So let's see what our team is up to.
Well, thanks for coming out today, Victor, to do our intermediate blower door test. So anything you can think of right off the bat for preparation?
Well, thanks for having me. And the first couple of things we got to do here is make sure the windows are all locked and closed.
Okay.
I don't see any appliances in the kitchen, so we don't have to worry about any fans that are exhausted to the outside. We do have to worry about our furnace being shut off,
Okay.
our water heater being on pilot, and our attic hatches, make sure they're sealed properly.
Okay.
And anything that's just venting to the outside, we got to make sure it's sealed properly. That way we can get a good reading in our blower door.
We have a duct in the kitchen where the exhaust fan will eventually go that's still open to the outside, so we'll go ahead and take care of that.
Yeah, we definitely got to seal that up, yeah.
Anything else for prep?
No, it looks like it's going to be intermediate blower door test because we definitely don't have the finished product, like the paint, the trim, the outlet covers,
And the hardware,
floor,
too.
the hardware. So the reading is going to be pretty close though, so to where the finished product might be.
I think you're right. We may find just a couple little things that may help tighten up the envelope for the builder.
Absolutely.
All right, shall we get started?
Sure.
Great.
After making sure that any openings to the outside are sealed properly, our team can set up the blower door for an intermediate blower door test. This test is considered intermediate because it occurs before all of the openings on the inside of the home are completely sealed or covered. The blower door depressurizes the home to exaggerate any air leaks and makes them easier to locate. Then our team can check cracks, outlets, and any interior openings with a smoke pen to see what areas need to be attended to.
So what we're doing now is essentially testing for leakage from the outside around outlet boxes. This is actually really good because it's been sealed. And then here, you know, in a conventional home, this would probably be a lot worse only because they don't necessarily have the 1-inch rigid insulation on the outside that's got the joint sealed and everything else. And sometimes this can also be attributed to what's called series leakage. And so when you've got a conduit and a box connected somewhere else in the house that may be an unconditioned space, there's potential for airflow, and that may actually be what's happening here instead of it necessarily coming from the outside.
The blower door is also utilized while our technician uses a thermal imaging camera to gain two-dimensional thermal pictures of an area that may show air leakage.
the corners you can tell, but you know, that's just about everywhere. Yeah.
So the next few things I have to do before we close out for today, part of my responsibility as the Green Raider is to make sure that I document what's actually been installed in the home. And so what we'll typically do is we'll take pictures of the tags of the windows so that we can go back to the energy model that we originally did based on plans to make sure that we've got everything correct. Typically when we do a energy model from plans, we might use like default values, but in this instance we definitely want to use what's actually been installed because it can only help the home and the overall score. Well, that actually turned out very well.
I was impressed with the reading that we had for this such big house that we have here.
Yeah, it was like 3,700 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 3,700 plus, you know, it fluctuates, but pretty much 3,700.
Yeah, that actually, I ran the numbers and it looks like we're at about 3.5 ACH 50, that's air changes per hour at 50 Pascal, which is really good actually.
And there's room for improvement though. We took our smoke test while the blower door was running, and we found out there was a couple air leakage spots, and there's definitely improvement for this house.
Well, we definitely expected that, and then because the attic hatches are temporary, we know when we put the final product in, that'll take care of some of the leakage we found there, as well as the hardware. Some of the hardware was missing on the exterior doors, so that'll take care of that. And surprisingly, there was leakage around some downlights.
Yeah, hopefully the can lights. Well, the can lights are the biggest air leakage in any home that we go into and check. That's because they're not sealed from above in the attic, or they still don't have a seal on the cover. So hopefully the contractor will have a seal, and that would take care of that problem.
And hopefully when we do our final, we're actually targeting 3,000. That'll put us below 3 ACH 50, which is great because code is 5. And for the International Energy Code, which is the 2012 version, which we're under, it's for the entire nation, it's actually 3. So we'll be performing below the state requirement as well as the national requirement.
That's pretty impressive too.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for coming out today.
Sure, Lorraine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our drywall installation is complete in the house. Everything's been taped and sanded, so we're ready for primer. The paint crew is here today to get ready to prime everything, and we're going to move forward.
Before starting the application, our painters have to prep our home. Windows are wrapped, our radiant floors are covered with paper, and any other openings such as electrical boxes are filled to protect the work done by our other trades. After that, we're ready for our primer coat.
The idea of the primer is to seal the walls, give the top coat an adhesive property, and also to create a surface so that the finish coat is not absorbed into the wall to give you a nice even finish. The product we're using today, it's a zero VOC product that is designed basically for new construction. So it has great adhesive properties, it has great touch-up, low light reflectancy, some durability. So it's a great product for this type of project.
It's going to be a sprayed finish, and then they're going to back roll. So obviously with the spraying there, they have to wear the protective gear, respirator, things like that, and I'm not ready to gear up for all that, so I'll let them handle that, do the job properly, and make sure everything's done correctly.
Typically the market has changed quite a bit, where in the past we would go into a job and we would use oil-based paint for primers or for wall covering. We would use oil-based paints for the doors and for the frames. Now with the zero VOC, they've really taken a step ahead and made it more health conscious for the guys in the field, because if you're in that for 30 or 35 years, you can come out with a lot of problems towards the end. So in this house, they're all zero VOCs.
VOCs are volatile organic compounds. They're molecules that are evaporated out of the paint during the curing or coalescing process of the products. The low VOC and zero VOC products are now becoming the industry standard. All these technologies exist now and have really advanced us to where we are today with the zero VOC technologies. It's really eliminating the solvents and things that were in paints of the past, where new resins have been developed, new technologies have been developed in order to actually eliminate and enhance the air quality. You no longer have to worry about the solvents that were coming out of paints of the past, where you have the new technologies that have been virtually eliminated from those products.
they're no better or no worse than the other paints we used to use. People would think, well, we're not using oil-based paint, so it's not as durable, and that's completely false. But they've developed different systems to make the paints more durable, even though they are a latex paint and zero VOC, to give you the same finish, to give you the same lasting time with the paints on the walls and on the trim and on the doors.
I think we used about 140 gallons as a primer for the entire home, and we use probably a little bit less as a finish coat, but not too far off of that.
Our painters are finished with the primer, and now the carpenters can get back to work installing baseboards, trim, and interior doors. As with everything else in the home, our carpenters know the importance of making sure all elements are plumb and level for a perfect fit. While one team gets the trim set and interior doors in place, another team works to install the staircase, which will be a beautiful and functional centerpiece of the home.
The majority of the stair components are fabricated off-site and brought out to the home to assemble. So the first thing they do is they remove the temporary stair. They'll come in and they'll frame in the stringers, which the stringers are there to support the treads and risers, and once those are in place, then they come back and they build upon those, picking up the balusters and railings and newel posts and support everything there. So everything kind of comes out in bits and pieces, components, but everything will be assembled shortly and it'll become a great feature of the home. This is a time-consuming process because one of the things you have to take into account is the levels and everything that are in the house. Anything that's off-level a little bit, they spend a lot of time doing field mentions prior, since things are fabricated off-site, but there's still some allocations and things that have to be handled on-site itself, but it's a very time-consuming process. So actually, stairs cannot be off more than 1/8 of an inch, so everything really needs to be leveled and lined up, because at that point it becomes a tripping hazard. But they have to be very precise, and we've got a great crew here to put everything in place the right way.
As our team finishes up one of the main floor's focal points, another team is downstairs, focusing on one of the basement's centerpieces.
Right now we're taking a panelized stone product, Versetta stone, and we're installing it the same way you would install siding, but we're allowing the carpenter to work in the home with stone where they weren't able to do it before. Versetta is made with 54% recycled product, making it a green, sustainable product right there. It doesn't need mortar to go onto the wall. It goes up similar to siding. You snap a line, you set your J channel, and the product sits into the J channel and goes up. And they have a nail hem. It's a registered range screen if you're doing it for an exterior application, or for interior, it does sit a little bit away from the wall to allow airflow. You'll never have a mold issue behind the product. Usually when a mason has to install cultured stone, he has to skim coat it, and then he has to take one stone at a time to the wall. But when a carpenter takes Versetta to the wall, they're actually taking it by the panel. So they're speeding up that process drastically, especially on a large exterior application, even down to a small fireplace like we're doing right here.
So Amy, what do you think of the progress of the house so far?
Oh, it is absolutely amazing, Bruce. I am so excited to see it continue to come together. Now, are we looking at the kitchen here?
Yes, we've made some great progress over the past couple weeks. This is becoming a kitchen area, and you can see now that everything's framed in. They came to their final dimensions for the cabinets, so within the next few weeks our cabinets and appliances will be going in, finishes, so it's going to be some great progress in there. Everything will come together soon.
And so this is a bar area?
Yes, the intent of this is kind of create a breakfast bar, kind of little additional seating off of what we're looking at as the dinette area in the kitchen here. So that kind of great for entertaining, things like that. Quick meals, sit at the bar here. So it'll be a great feature of the space.
And then I see a fireplace.
Yes, so that wall becomes kind of our feature walls. You come in through the front door, it's in line with the front door, and what we're looking to do there is we're to clad that wall into composite stone. So that kind of makes best use of the products and things like that, and just it'll be a great element for that space there too.
Yeah, you'll really notice it when you walk in the front door.
Yes, yes it will.
You know, something that caught my eye right away was the stairs.
Yes, the staircase is going in. That is another kind of element and feature of this space here too. And it kind of stands off with its own, with the skylight there and things like that. It's really going to be a great feature of this space.
So what kind of floors are going over our radiant flooring?
We're going with pre-finished bamboo flooring, and it's going to be throughout the whole first floor. So we got a nice color on that, and it's going to be a great element for this space here. And with the radiant heat, that's another great feature of this home. So you can see we don't have a lot of ductwork vents and things like that you normally have in a house. So with this, it's going to be a great feel for those chilly mornings and things like that to come out and feel that warmth where you're walking.
Sounds delightful.
It'll be a great feature.
Well, let's go check out some other rooms.
Okay, sounds good.
So, Bruce, this must be the master bedroom.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful. Now, I see a lot of window light here.
Right, this is another room that gets great amount of light with the windows. Notice here we've got the door right off the deck. Great place. Have your early morning coffee, read the paper out there, be able to relax first thing.
I love that.
So, and then too, here you notice this wall, we're looking for the bed to kind of be situated to this wall. We set the windows up high, that way you can put your nightstand, lamps, things. Nothing kind of inhibits it, and also great cross ventilation in the room as well.
Very well planned, if I do say so myself. Yes. On your behalf. Now, ductwork. I know we've talked about our air system in past episodes, so we've got just little vents there.
Right, we do have the radiant floor for heating, but we do have to air condition the home, so that is part of our high velocity system. And you can see very small minimum amount of ductwork and diffusers in the wall, so very inconspicuous. As well as the sprinkler. Remember, we have the fire protection system in the house. Once the walls are painted and that's covered, you won't even know it's there.
All right. Now, please tell me what this little wire is.
Now, this you'll notice in various areas throughout the house. This is the sensor for our radiant flooring. So we are zoned, so areas that might not be occupied or require that amount of heat, we're able to turn them down through a sensor. So once the sensor's on the wall, you won't even see that it's there. Everything goes back to the main control panel in the basement, and it'll be able to control from a tablet or iPhone from your home automation.
Oh, so how convenient. So everything's individually controlled.
Yes, yes it is. So try to make the home efficient. So areas that might not be occupied, we'll be able to dial back and create good comfort levels throughout the home.
Perfect.
Save energy.
That's the idea, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, let's go check out the basement now.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Well, Bruce, I just can't get over how much living space there is in this basement.
Right, if you remember, one of the features of this site was the walkout basement. So it's a great feature here, so we're not really below grade here.
Right, there's so many windows, it's just such an open area.
It is, and you remember we've got the deck running through above, and even with the deck there you can see how much light we have coming into the space.
Yes, and then it just looks like there's so many possibilities for a living space, entertaining. Walk me through some of that.
Sure, with the fireplace here, that kind of becomes a feature of the space here as well. That area there we've got roughed in for a bar, so that'll be a great feature to have down here. So, but over there you can do a pool table, and what we did with the accessible ceiling kind of gives you the option for lighting and things you want to do that, home entertainment, overhead screen TV, things like that. So a lot of flexibility down here that we've kind of built into the systems.
So pretty soon this will be all covered up.
Yeah, pretty soon this will be set to go. So another finished space.
I'm excited to see the progress. Thank you so much. While Bruce and I head outside to do some more visualizing, our painters are back to work finishing up the trim that was just installed. They fill in any seams and nail holes and then apply a final coat of paint to the trim, baseboard, and windowsills.
Hi Rich, how are you?
Good, good to see you.
You too. Came to see how progress is working out here?
Going really well. A lot of paint on the walls, I think. So.
Oh, they got quite a bit done. I know we've got the primer done and stuff.
Yeah.
So how did you guys get this far? What was the process?
Typically, we come in first day and we put blue tape around the windows and a little plastic to keep them clean, and we'll spray everything, the walls, ceilings, closets, and back roll them as we go.
Okay.
And then it just makes it easier to touch them up, and also when the taper's sand, it gets the dust off, and also if they burn through the drywall, it flattens it out. So you get a much smoother, flatter, nice looking ceiling.
Okay.
So we're at the point where all the ceilings are finished and all the walls are primed. And we're going through now caulking and puttying a little bit of the trim. The carpenters are in great shape as far as trim installation in doors and frames, so we're painting and working on that.
I know they got quite a bit in. We're just missing a few odds and end custom pieces, but for the most part, we should be pretty much set.
We're in great shape. Yeah, we're in great shape with that. So we're actually painting some on the north side of the house and some of the bedrooms, and kind of working our way back from there.
Okay.
So,
now we've got our front door in place, and I know that's ready for stain. Anything special we have to do about this?
Yeah, we typically have a exterior stain that we'll use on that, and then we use a marine or a spar varnish on that. It just weathers better between the hot summers with the sun and the winters here. So that's a much nicer finish inside and out. We'll get the spar varnish, and that'll eliminate any fading on the doors.
Okay, that'll be great. Now I know with it's being a pre-finished floor, our railing, the treads and the things aren't finished, so that has to be stained on site. So now we're trying to match everything up. Now what's the process for that?
We have a good supplier that takes care of all the matches on that. So what we'll do is we'll get a sample of the raw wood, and we'll get the colors that were picked out. We'll have them do a match for us, then we'll bring them out here and match them in the field, and then typically adjust them as we go to get them to look like a good match. And once that's done, we'll stain them, seal them, and varnish them. It's a 3-day process. And at that point, we'll cover the stairs, and then we'll do all the painting on the stringers and the risers. From
okay. So. That sounds terrific. Well, I guess in order for them getting going, we're going to have to get out of their way. So
get them back to work.
Okay.
Sounds good. Well, Bruce and I had a really nice walkthrough. We got a few things straightened out in regards to stain colors and colors for the rooms. They're putting additional colors in some of the bedrooms and hallways and vestibules and that. So we're in a process now where our base is complete and our frames are complete. We'll run tape on the top of the base in the rooms, and we'll cut all the rooms in ceilings and walls, and we'll patch them, spot prime anything that we've patched out and looks bad, and then we'll go in and we'll finish paint the rooms.
Since our home has a lot of natural light and very open, airy spaces, we're able to go with a little more with colors, not necessarily dark colors, but a little more rich colors in the home. We've selected some medium tone colors in the open spaces and actually went with a little bit darker wood floor because of how light and bright the home will be. Since we have the natural light coming in and the overhangs, the home won't be in shadow too much at a time and a very, very vibrant light.
Typically all the finishes are hand cut in at the ceiling lines and around the base and the doors, and then hand rolled, and it gives you a nice finish on that. So the first thing you look at, if there's colors, you look at the ceiling line to see, did they cut a straight line at the ceiling? How does that line look? And that kind of gives you an idea of how good or bad your painter is. Can he cut a straight line at the ceiling? Because it's not an easy thing to do. And typically that's what we make sure. We have to make sure that they're giving quality work, and that's where you'll see it. You'll see it in the cut lines, you'll see it in the patching, and you'll see it in the rolling. Any construction, new or redo, we're kind of the electrician and the carpenter's best friend, because if they come through and they have to move an outlet or they make a hole or typically put a nick in a wall, we'll go through before we finish it and we'll patch it out, spot prime it. And if a miter on a door jamb is wide or looks bad, we can go in and we can fill it to make it look good. So yeah, I mean, we're the guys that kind of come in and finish the product off, and typically, we're not 100% perfect at anything we do, but nobody is. So you're always going to have odds and ends. So it's kind of up to us to come through and make sure that the quality's there and we can give them a nice finished product. But yeah, we're always the last guys out, so we kind of get the brunt of making, or the responsibility of making sure everything looks good. We have our stain color for the stairs. Get the stairs taken care of, and all the wood doors that get stained, we'll stain those and seal and varnish those, and then we'll be out the door and ready to go.
There's nothing like a great wall finish to bring the inside of our home to life. There's still a lot more interior work to be done, so we'll see you next time on Built to Last, the Green Home.
Visit the Built to Last website to learn about these topics and more. Support for Built to Last is provided by
Unico Incorporated, manufacturers of the small duct high-velocity HVAC Unico system. Unico is dedicated to the environment and has been serving residential and commercial customers around the corner and around the globe for more than 25 years.
Great Northern Lumber, providing green construction materials from skyscrapers to residential remodel. Proud to serve you for the last 27 years and into the future in the lumber industry.
BOSCH Power Tools for Professionals, proud sponsor of The Green Home. Floridatile. Expect more. SPI Incorporated, protective coatings, proven performance, and real-world solutions for 24 years. Additional funding is provided by these firms.